So the readaptation of Pet Sematary is out next week, and it got me thinking that there are other movies that Stephen King has wrote that's been made into a TV series, a TV movie, or a feature-length movie for the cinema that maybe deserve to have a remake slash readaptation more than Pet Sematary, because the original Pet Sematary from 1989 to me was a really good horror movie. So for them to remake it, it's a good thing, yeah, but I think the other Stephen King projects maybe deserved a little bit more attention than Pet Sematary. So I'm going to go through 6 Stephen King projects that I felt maybe deserved a little bit more attention and could have a readaptation or remake in the future, just like Stephen King's It did, and of course Pet Sematary. So first we're going to start with Salem's Lot from 1979. This wasn't an actual movie, this was just a TV adaptation. We've also had a second TV adaptation with Rob Lowe, but there's been no big studio that seems to want to take this on and make a cinematic version of this film. This could be because of the style of the vampire in Salem's Lot. It's not your typical sparkly vampire or your comic book version vampire, so for them to bring a vampire in the style of Salem's Lot, it kind of reminds you of Nosferatu, so it's an older style vampire that maybe not a lot of people these days would get. I think with a proper tidy up of the script and a nice creepy dark setting for a remake of Salem's Lot, this could be a really good movie. Next up we've got Silver Bullet from 1985. Although we already had a feature-length movie for Silver Bullet, when it came out in 1985 not a lot of people went to see it at the cinema. It only made $12 million at the cinema, and even to this day there's still a lot of people who haven't seen it. The original had a great cast and it was overall a really good movie, but for some reason it just slipped under the radar for most people. Some people consider Silver Bullet from 1985 one of the best werewolf movies ever made, so to remake it or do a readaptation of the Stephen King novel, they're going to have to do something really big to overtake the original. I think with some good special effects mixed with some good practical effects, this would be a worthwhile readaptation. Next up we've got Sometimes They Come Back from 1991. This is one of the most underrated Stephen King adaptations, and that could be due to the production value of this film because it was a TV movie. And since it was a made-for-TV movie, just like all the other Stephen King made-for-TV movies back in the late 80s, the early 90s, this felt like a feature-length movie version of Are You Afraid of the Dark? The key to this film was the story, the setting and the sleepy little town. Bring back that atmosphere of the original TV movie and we could be on to a winner. Next up is Sleepwalkers from 1992. Considered one of the worst Stephen King's adaptations, this movie is in dire need of a readaptation. Sure, it's very dated when you watch it today, but it had a decent cast, it had some good acting, and it had that 90s charm. Whether you loved this movie or whether you hated this movie, I think everyone would agree that we need an updated version of this film. Next we've got Tommyknockers from 1993. Similar to it, this was a TV miniseries that consisted of 2 episodes. As the book was so big, just like it would be hard making this into one movie. So what they would probably need to do is go down the route that it went down, and if it was successful, then we would have a sequel to Tommyknockers. Again, with the classic setting that Stephen King creates, with an updated version of this Tommyknockers, we could have a really good horror movie. And lastly, we've got The Stand from 1994. The Stand was a miniseries I just couldn't get into, and that's mainly due to the set design and the quality, the overall quality of the TV series. Unlike it and Tommyknockers, which a lot of people have mistaken for movies, but they're not, they're TV series. The Stand, like I said, has 4 episodes, so nobody really mixes that up thinking that it's a movie. It's definitely a TV series, so having a readaptation of The Stand, it would be quite hard to make one movie, but again we'd probably be looking at a trilogy for The Stand. The casting would have to be spot on, as Stephen King's characterizations are very in-depth for this one. So that's 6 movies or TV series that I've chosen from Stephen King that I think deserve a readaptation. Maybe not more so than Pet Sematary itself, but to me I think that they maybe required a bit of an update before Pet Sematary in my eyes, but there are a lot of Stephen King movies out there that maybe do require a bit of tender loving care, and there are some movies that are really good but just don't have a lot of recognition. So Those are the 6 that sprung to mind for me, especially Sometimes They Come Back. I would love to see a feature-length cinematic version of Sometimes They Come Back. So what do you think, guys? Is there any Stephen King adaptation that you think needs a cinematic update, like in the vein of It or this week's Pet Sematary? As always, leave your comments down below to let me know what you think. Anyway guys, thanks a lot for watching again, thanks for subscribing, I'll see you soon, bye bye.